I did it my. You've heard and you saw the video clips of President Trump meeting with Vladimir Putin. And the Warhawks really are upset, those on the right and those on the left, because you do know they have Warhawks on both sides, right? Now, this is going to come as a shock to some of you, but if you've been watching me for any time, I hate when any side get on a certain agenda and they just throw their brains out the window because they hate somebody so damn much. As much as I hate these communists, as much as I hate the Joe Bidens, the Barack Obama, the Mitch McConnells, the Clintons, we don't have to start acting like when they say something that's right, that is wrong. But here's the thing, Vladimir Putin, I trust Vladimir Putin more than I trust anybody who's a Democrat and probably 75% of all Republicans. I don't care if you like Vladimir Putin. He speaks plainly most of the time. He speaks clearly. That doesn't mean I think that Vladimir Putin is a saint. I know I'm a Russian asset too, I guess. But Vladimir Putin said something to Mr. Trump that was true, that we all knew is true, and if you don't know it's true, you're just too damn stupid. He said if you were the president, this war in Ukraine would have never happened.
If he had been the president, if the victory wasn't stolen from him in 2020, maybe the Ukrainian crisis that arose in 2022 would have never appeared.
Today, when President Trump is saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that.
Of course it wouldn't. Because as long as you got Warhawks, all they think about is war. That's including the Republicans and the Democrats. People like John Bolton, the warist. Never seen a war that he didn't like. Always talking about war, but he ain't going to go fight. Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell. Warhawks. John McCain before he died. Always talking about war in another country when our border is wide open. They won't declare war on China and these other countries that's been ripping us off for years, but it's war on everybody else. The whole incident with Ukraine, I believe Vladimir Putin that he tried to talk to Joe Biden, but the problem is Joe Biden was not even coherent. But Warhawks was running Joe Biden's campaign.
The downside, though, is the only thing that happened today is Putin succeeded in deflecting the conversation away from pressure on Russia, and he bought more time for himself and for Russia to continue this military aggression that they've got.
You do realize there's a lot of Democrats that's Warhawks. You had people like they're supposed to be Republican over at Fox News on the board, Paul Ryan, who was the running mate of that damn crybaby. You know, I never seen a grown man cry so damn much, but Paul Ryan, who sits on the board of Fox, he said he would never support Donald Trump. He can't win. Notice that you haven't heard from Paul Ryan yet, but he's still at Fox News because the board over at Fox stuck a crank in DeSantis back and told him to run against Donald Trump. And I tried to warn you, he shouldn't have did it. That's okay. You listen to the so-called experts telling you how smart they are. They keep getting it wrong, though. Vladimir Putin said it wouldn't have been the war because you can look at the whole aspect if you just get your biases out the way. You'll hate Vladimir Putin is evil. Whatever. Here's the kicker, though. We had 26 labs inside of Ukraine.
Network was essentially run by the United States. It was an intel operation. It was a DARPA operation. It was essentially run by the United States. And there is some speculation that SARS-CoV-2 was developed there, not in Wuhan, but it was developed in Ukraine and then trafficked to Wuhan. And that's where it was released and spread around the world.
Are the undeniable facts. There are 25 to 30 U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine. According to the U.S. government, these biolabs are conducting research on dangerous pathogens.
Recently, the U.S. biological labs in Ukraine have indeed attracted much attention. According to reports, in these facilities, a large quantity of dangerous viruses are stored. Russia has found during its military operations that the U.S. uses.
We knew over a year ago about these biolabs and their experiments and the documents. We knew about the contractors. We knew about it originally starting in 2005 with the Defense Intelligence Agency that then created a 501c3 called the Global Viral Forecasting Institute with a Zionist Mossad operative named Nathaniel Wolf that then became Metabiota to make it more of a harmless name. And that Metabiota was being funded by Rosemont Fonseca, an investment firm that, ironically enough, Hunter Biden, the son of Joe Biden, was the head of, along with Christopher Hines, who was the son of John Kerry, and Paul Pelosi Jr., the son of Nancy Pelosi.
Has biological research facilities, which, in fact, we are now quite concerned Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So we are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces should they.
There ain't no way in the hell that America would allow Russia to have 26 labs in Mexico. Now, they would allow China to do it. Because China is part of NATO, so they can't really go against that. That's why they sugarcoat that. But Russia, on the other hand, is why we have NATO. But Vladimir Putin said it wouldn't have been a war. Because here is the problem with these globalists. They want to try to dictate what everybody does, what every country does, and they have this agenda, including this climate change trash that they keep promoting, and we won't go along with it. Climate change is a way to control you. They don't give a damn about the earth. They wouldn't be spilling so much blood in the earth if they cared about the damn earth. But Vladimir Putin said it wouldn't have been a war. Now the media is going to say, he's a puppet. Donald Trump is a puppet for Vladimir Putin, whatever. See, this is the point. I've started where I just ignore all the noise when it comes to those on the left and even those on the right who keep saying the same damn thing over. Like, I criticize Israel. I don't think that you got to, if you don't do anything that Israel says, God's not going to bless you. It's a misreading of the scripture. I don't have time to deal with it. I'm not going to argue with any damn illiterate fool of the Bible who thinks so. Just go read Romans chapter 9. If that don't get it for you, nothing will. But here's the thing. People like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson has completely ignored everything about the Palestinians. I'm not saying Israel has handled that perfectly, but why is it that every time they get offered whatever they need, they don't do a damn thing for their people? They hide bombs and everything else amongst the people, and then they come up with this phony story in the New York Times telling us how this little kid is starving, and the kid has a terminal illness. His mama's fat, his brother's fat, but he's starving.
This week, the Times admitting that that child actually suffered from pre-existing health conditions. It was a retraction that they didn't even post on their main account. And I always think every time there's a mistake from any of these media companies, you notice how the mistake always goes in one direction. There's never a mistake that's not of their own perceived agenda. Go ahead.
It's because they're not mistakes. It's intentional.
What parent let their child starve like that? Propaganda. We would never support Israel. I don't care if you support Israel. I don't really give a damn. I don't blindly support Israel, no damn other body, no other damn country, period. I don't blindly support America. But when you start allowing somebody else to dictate like they did for Russia, Vladimir Putin is bad, kind of like they did for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is evil. Vladimir Putin also said something very, very telling in his posts, while he was talking. He says that President Trump said, Vladimir Putin told him, why do you guys allow mail-in balloting?
That way. Vladimir Putin said something, one of the most interesting things. He said, your election was rigged because you have mail-in voting. He said, mail-in voting, every election. He said, no country has mail-in voting. It's impossible to have mail-in voting and have honest elections. And he said that to me. It was very interesting because we talked about 2020. He said, you won that election by so much. And that's how he got it. He said, and if you would have won, we wouldn't have had a war. You'd have all these millions of people alive.
It's obvious they're going to cheat. What other country think Is there any other countries that do mail-in balloting? Because I don't think they do. There are other ways to cheat. But what other country allows mail-in balloting? Do you really think the Postal Service is secure? If that's the case, don't do a wire transfer. Put your couple of thousand in there and mail it off. See if it gets there. He said, why are y'all allowed it? He said, you won the 2020 election. We already know that. See, most of your media won't say that. Most of the Republicans won't even say that. So I say I trust Vladimir Putin more. Because at least he got the decency to tell you that mail-in balloting is a joke. Nobody should allow mail-in balloting. It's the only way you do it is you're allowing the other party to cheat. Now you got to ask yourself, why do the Republicans allow this? Well, the Republicans allow this because as long as they have their little power, there's a certain element. Like, you never seen the Democrats trying to take Mitch McConnell out, have you? Lindsey Graham. See, they don't take out certain elements because they're not a danger to their communist ways. There's many Republicans who call themselves Republicans are nothing but a bunch of communists themselves. Lindsey Graham is a communist, in my humble opinion, and Donald Trump endorsed him. That's why I can never be a politician, because you got to pretend like you believe stuff that don't make any damn sense. Why we allow mail-in balloting? Nobody should believe that Joe Biden got 81 million votes. If you believe Joe Biden got 81 million votes, you're a damn fool. I don't care who it is. Ain't nowhere in the world Joe Biden got 81 million votes. There's nowhere in the world Joe Biden was running any damn thing.
And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it right, Shanga Koala.
But see, this is the narrative that they've been spitting out there because people are too damn stupid to make up their own freaking mind. Yeah, I trust Vladimir Putin. Not that I trust Vladimir Putin, but I trust him more than I trust Democrats. I trust him more than I trust the media. I trust him more than I trust 80% of the damn Republicans because all they do is lie. They lied about NATO. The whole thing, nobody wants to deal with this. The coup d'etat that Barack Obama did, they lied about that. Get down on it.